Chapter 11 Lost and Found. Perish forever the world and its pleasures. Better the trust of the poor and unknown. Blessed the man who in tender remembrance lives in our hearts for the love he has shown. The weeks fled away with measured swiftness, and the rice planting season came again. It had been a long time since Tuan had visited the village, but it was rumored among the mountain people that he had moved out of the city and was establishing a new school right at the end of the bus line, where the long trail down the mountain ended at a paved road. It was near the spot where Kadima had her terrible fright over the red bus. Kadima had not seen the Tuan and his children for a long time. She often thought of them, with a warm tugging at her heart. Memories of the house of children and all the joyful activity there filled her with a vague loneliness she could feel, but could not express. She was growing fast now, and the little dresses, although still clean and fresh, were getting so short and tight that she could no longer wear them with comfort. Often she put on the long black skirt and short light jacket that was the ordinary dress of the village girls. Kadima, Chaya, we are all going to the rice field today. Mother shook the two girls awake in the early morning light and spoke to Kadima. Chaya must go with us, for there is much work to be done today. We will take the babies along so that you may gather firewood today. We will be back at sundown, and you must have the rice cooked for us so we may eat our supper. Jaya tumbled out of the mosquito curtain at once and began picking up things and putting them in a big basket. Mother roused the small boys and strapped the smaller one to Chaya's back. After tying Bonnie on her own back, the mother, with the rest, left for the distant clearing in the jungle. Kadima turned over on her mat. She hugged her two dollies close and adjusted the loved pillow. Bother the old firewood, she thought savagely. Why do I have to work so hard? She sniffed with injured dignity. Not being able to compose herself to sleep again, she rose, took the big water bamboos to the spring, and filled them. As she returned, Mukit came out of his house, looking very sleepy. Where are you going, Mukit? She demanded. Father says I must dig a ditch back of the house this morning to drain the water away from the hen roost. Mukit yawned and loitered by the ladder of his house. I'm leaving, said Kadima. I'm tired of being worked to death. What with carrying water and wood and babies and cooking, I've decided not to stay here any longer. Mukit's eyes almost dropped out of his head. Where will you go, Kadima? He sat down on the ladder to listen to her answer. I will go to the Tuan's house, she exclaimed. After all, I am one of his children, and he will be glad to have me back. I won't have to work down there. But the Tuan's house is far away, objected the little lad. I know the way, said Kadima shortly, and if you were a smart boy, you would come along with me. Mukit had risen, but now he sat down again out of sheer astonishment. At the Tuan's house, there are lots of children. They sing and play and laugh. They have lovely food. They have pillows and pajamas, and I'm going right now. So saying, she lifted her head proudly, carried the full water bamboos into her hut. Then she came out again, closing the door with firm decision. She did not even look at Mukit, still sitting where she had left him. Throwing her light scarf over her shoulders, she started up the path toward the top of the hill. She forgot her two dollies, snuggled still under the red blanket. She forgot everything but the house of children and the Tuon. Halfway up the hill, Mulkit overtook her and fell into step. Two little village girls saw the two and ran after them. "Where are you going?" they asked, all out of breath. "We are going to the Tuon's house," Mulkit answered. "We are tired of working all the time." He snorted in pride. "We go where we will be better treated." "My folks are pretty mean to me," said Elijah. "I have to weave baskets and mats all the time, and I have to pound out the rice." She fell into step with the other two. The fourth child said that she too was badly treated and felt sure things would be much more pleasant at the Tuon's house. Before they had gone out of the clearing where the village stood, another small boy joined himself to the rebellious travelers, and all five moved into the jungle path that led over the hill and far away. Kendima cautioned the children about the leeches. "We must go fast," she insisted. "Then the leeches will fall where we have been instead of where we are." They hurried so fast that any leech would have had difficulty overtaking them. When they came to the valley of the durian trees, there was no fruit, because it was not the durian season. However, Kendima seated them all on the grass, and they pretended to feast off the leaves and grass, playing that it was rich and delightful food. With much laughing and eager joy, they proceeded on their way. The children lingered a long time at the top of the mountain, where the ocean first became visible. They speculated much on the valley of water, and Kadima gave them such a vivid account of the perils and discomforts of ocean travel that all of them shuddered and hoped they would never have to make a trip by sea. Under the water, there are great hills and valleys, Kendima informed them. It is very uncomfortable when the ship passes over them. The sun was hot as they resumed their journey. It was the busy season in the hills, and few persons were traveling the long trail down to the plain, so the children met with no travelers on the way. Kendima encouraged them with thrilling tales of her marvelous adventures in Singapore, in the House of Children. There will be good food and blankets and pillows and pajamas and toys at the Tuan's house. She led the little company on with fine courage. Early in the afternoon, they came to the big rock where the Tuan had taken her on his knee on the trip down the mountain. She directed all the children to bathe their feet in the little stream. Then, weary and hungry, they hastened on their way. This is where the snake tried to eat the monkey. Kadima did not need to hurry the little party of drooping children. The thoughts of the great snake lingering in the swamp swept them by the place with winged feet. The sun was setting when Kadima and her friends emerged from the rubber grove onto the paved highway. No bus was there. Kadima strained her eye as she looked around. A glad cry heartened the group. "Look, look!" She pointed across the long, low bridge. "See the new houses? That is where the Tuan is making his school. Come, we are almost there." "Who are you?" demanded a tall boy as the children entered the gate close to the nearest of the new buildings. "Who are you and what do you want?" He eyed the little party of children with a look of mingled interest and disgust. "We are some of the Tuan's children." Kadima looked him straight in the eye. "We have come to live at his house. We are hungry, and we want to see the Tuan and his children." The schoolboy threw back his tousled head and laughed until He had to lean against the wall of the building. So you are some of the Tuon's children. Ho, ho, ho. He held his sides with amusement. I knew the Tuon had a lot of children, but I never saw any of them look like you. He laughed with so much scorn in his voice that Kendima stepped boldly up and touched his arm. It is true, we are dirty and tired, and we don't look so good to you. But the Tuon will be glad to see us, for he loves us and wants us to come to his house. I should like to know who you are and what is your work about the Tuon's place. At this, Majiti, for that was his name, sobered down enough to consider the situation with more composure. I am come here to go to school, he said with dignity, and I am left to watch this house. I sleep here at night, and I help with the buildings in the daytime. He hesitated, evidently wondering why he had to give an account of himself to this small girl. The Tuon is not here, he added. He went into the city this afternoon and took the family with him. They have not returned yet. Over the little group fell a shadow that had nothing to do with the approaching darkness. Mukit whispered to Elijah, and all the children squatted down beside the new building to rest their weary legs. At this moment, the sound of a motor car was heard approaching. Two bright headlights turned in at the gate, and the car came to a stop in front of the building. All the children sprang to their feet. Tuan! Majiti called as he advanced to the side of the car. Here are 5 children come from the mountains just now. They say they belong to you and have come to live at your house. He indicated the forlorn group with a disdainful wave of his hand. The Tuon looked out into the twilight and saw the 5 little folk standing in a row. He said not a word, but leaned on the steering wheel and laughed until the surrounding forest resounded again and again. All hearts grew lighter. If the Tuon could laugh like that, he could not be too displeased at their coming. They drew a little nearer the car. What shall we do with them, Tuon? Majiti inquired in a voice of disgust. Tuon went off into another fit of uncontrollable laughter, at which the children advanced another step nearer the car. Look, Majiti, Tuan finally said when he could catch his voice again. Of course they have run away, and they will have to be sent home. But we must feed them and make them happy till their parents arrive. Come over to my house. I will give you plenty of rice and fish and vegetables so you can cook them a good meal. I will take them to the river to get them cleaned up, and then we will find blankets and mosquito curtain for them. No merrier party had ever had a swim in the old Taurian river. The Tuon played with them for an hour. The moon was full, and the water in the river was refreshing. When they arrived from their bath, a feast was spread, the like of which none of them had ever seen or tasted before. That is, none but Kadima. You see? Kadima nudged Mukit, who was stuffing his mouth like one of Gulant's pigs. You see, we are all his children. Have we not eaten his rice in his house? The Tuan had risen from his place among them and was saying something important. He looked about kindly on them all. The feeble light of the lantern cast dark shadows on his thin face. I'm very happy to have a visit from you little ones. He opened both arms wide to the 5. But we are not quite ready to treat you as you should be treated. We do not yet have a proper place for you to live. He swept his hands toward the mountains. All you mountain children need to go to a school, and we are building a school here. As soon as it is done, I will come to your village and bring you. Then we will learn many wonderful things and have a good time together. Tonight you must stay with us, but in the morning I will take you home to your village, and I will tell your parents about the new school." A sigh arose from the group, but the littlest boy had already fallen asleep, and the Tuan quickly put them away for the night. The whole family retired to rest. Kadima dropped at once into deep sleep, but shortly after midnight she woke suddenly. She crept out of the mosquito curtain and looked out the small loft window. A party of men approached the buildings. They carried torches in their hands. Kadima could distinguish by the flickering light the face of her own father and Mukit's father and Elijah's father. All the fathers were there. They stood shouting before the gate. "We ask shelter for the night." They raised their discouraged voices higher. The Tuan's head appeared in the window. "We seek our children. They are lost. We have hunted them all the night, and we ask your help to find them. Have pity on us." Kandima's heart did a quick somersault. She had not realized the grief it would bring to her beloved father for her to be lost. "Your children are here." The Tuan's assuring voice rang out in the darkness. "They are all safe and well taken care of." "Thank God," said all five in one breath. "The Lord is merciful." Then Tuan came out and brought the men into his house and made them comfortable for the rest of the night. Late next morning, a party of 10 persons set off for the Durian village, laden with good things and fully instructed about the new school. The boys and girls went with light hearts. The rugged journey seemed short and easy, for they all were the Tuan's children now.